So this lesson is about deploying Swift object storage. Now in this lesson we are going to do something that is giving us a lot of insight in the working of OpenStack. Let me show you. We are going to create the Swift object storage manually. Do you want to do it manually typically? Of course not. You want to do it using PackStack and Horizon. But again, if anything goes wrong in either PackStack or Horizon, you should be able to troubleshoot. And by working ourselves through the manual procedure, you will acquire excellent troubleshooting skills. I know what we are going to see in this sublesson and in the next sublessons isn't easy at all. But it's the way how OpenStack is organized. And if you want to be a good OpenStack administrator, you better be aware of what is happening. Let me repeat it once more. This goes way beyond what you need to know on the exam if everything is running smoothly. But if you need to do troubleshooting, you might be happy knowing about all these commands that we are going to see right now. So first, I'm going to go quickly through the procedure to make sure that you understand. And this also allows you to pause the video and do it for yourself. And next I will show you in a demo how it's all working. So to start with, you need to install RPM packages. There's a lot of RPM packages all related to Swift that make sure that all the required components are installed. Next, you're going to source the Keystone RC admin, of course, to acquire administrator permissions. Notice, by the way, that we don't make a difference between the overall cloud administrator and the cloud tenant user here. This is just the big cloud administrator that is creating the backend configuration. That is because we are creating infrastructure here. We are not using infrastructure, we are creating it. Next, we need to create a user as well. So this command will do it for you. And it will set the password and it will add the user to the tenant services. Notice that in the very first demo in this course, we have seen this user in the project tenant environment. That is typically the end customer. The administrator has a tenant and the services have a tenant as well. So that is why this tenant needs to be specified. Then we are going to create a role, which is Swift operator. And next we are going to assign a role to the services tenant, to the Swift user. Next we are going to query Keystone and make sure that Swift is existing. And if for any reason it didn't work out well, we can use Keystone service create -- name Swift, type object store, description OpenStack object storage to make sure that everything exists the way it should. And then comes the ugly command. This is the command where the endpoints are created. So Keystone endpoint create is creating the endpoints for Swift in Keystone. Now why is that? That is because all the services are going to talk to Keystone in order to access Swift. So what we need is a public URL, an admin URL and an internal URL. And these URLs are defined here by specifying the IP addresses that you can see in this slide. And this is basically the procedure. Now let's have a look at what this looks like on the command line. So let's go through this procedure. To start with, we are going to install a couple of software packages. OpenStack Swift proxy, which is going to be the proxy that is accessed by all the nodes in the OpenStack environment. OpenStack Swift object, which is the object ring. Swift is using 3 different rings, which are object, container and account. And they have corresponding RPM packages that need to be installed. Then we've got Python Swift client, which is the Python client to interact with Swift. And there's memcached, which allows you to cache essential properties in memory. This will take a minute or so to install. You should notice, by the way, that the only reason I have to install this right now is because I omitted it when doing the PackStack installation yesterday. Normally, you would be doing this with PackStack, but I want to create some awareness of the manual procedure that is behind PackStack. Now that I've installed all software packages, we need to log in as admin. And to do so on OpenStack, we are going to source this Keystone RC admin file. Now I want to do a Keystone user list. Which is giving a lot of ugly messages, which I'm just going to ignore because they are deprecation messages. We have just discussed how about this Keystone command and its deprecation messages. We completely don't care about it. What I want to do right now is Keystone user create -- name Swift -- pass password and -- tenant services. And after the deprecation messages, you can see that the user has successfully been created. Also, we want to have a Swift operator role. We are not going to use it right away, but the operator role allows you to assign operator permissions to storage administrators in Swift. So that would be Keystone role create -- name Swift operator. And there we go, we've got the Swift operator role. Next we are going to use Keystone user role add -- role admin -- tenant services and -- user Swift. We want to assign the Swift user to the administration role. The user role add command doesn't normally show any output apart from the deprecation messages. So that is totally fine. And just to make sure, we want to look for the service as well. So that is going to be Keystone service list grab Swift. Oh dear, we don't have the service. Well, if you don't have the service, that's not too much of a problem. We are just going to create it. So Keystone service create -- name Swift followed by -- type object store and -- description OpenStack object storage. And now you can see that the Swift service has been created. And at this point we can do something ugly but very important. We need to create the endpoints. So let me type this long command, Keystone endpoint create -- service Swift -- region 1. You can work with regions in OpenStack cloud environments. And these regions typically correspond to geographical regions in your cloud. We don't do anything with regions in this course, so everything we are specifying is a region 1. But if you have a multi-region OpenStack cloud, you can specify the name of another region to make sure that this configuration is available in one region only. And after that, we need to specify the URLs. So public URL, which is going to be http://192.168.4.10.8080. That's the IP address of the server that is going to provide access to Swift services. And next we do a %, that is a % tenant ID with an S. This is one of those moments where in Linux you are happy to have a mouse available. So let's copy this, because we are going to need something that is pretty similar a couple of times. -- admin URL and let's paste it, and -- internal URL, and let's paste this as well. The differences that you can see here are in % tenant ID. So this is using the actual tenant ID of the public user, the admin user, or the internal user. So that will be different depending on the type of user who is accessing it. And you can see that the admin URL and all the other URLs have successfully been created. So this is all right, and this concludes the basic setup of the deployment of Swift Object Storage. And let me repeat this once again. You think this is a lot of trouble? You are so right, but you can do it from PackStack as well, as we have seen earlier.